Good morning, everyone. I wanted to start off by saying thank you for being here today and providing us with the opportunity to share some important information with you about the application process and the requirements for receiving funding for recovery from the 23-24 weather-related disasters in Florida. My name is McKenna. I serve as Bureau Chief in the Bureau of Economic Recovery in the Office of Resiliency. With me today are my colleagues Garnet Nevels, Deputy Chief, Anastasia Smith, Program Manager, and Jody McCormick, Grants Coordinator. I'm excited to provide you with an overview today of our Office of Long-Term Resiliency's 23-24 Community Development Block Disaster Recovery, CDBG DR funding opportunities. And I'd like to make everybody aware that this presentation today is being recorded and will be posted. If you have questions on the webinar, please post them in the chat, and we will try to answer as many as we can. This slide lists the primary members of the Florida Commerce Disaster Recovery Team that will staff the 23-24 HUD funding. It includes leadership as well as program managers. Once awards are made, a grant manager will be assigned to partner with each subrecipient. Please note that this slide deck will also become available on our website once the respective web pages go live. Our agenda today includes providing a bit of background information on Florida Commerce, our team, our mission, and how we are organized to serve Floridians. This will be followed by an over 23-24 funding opportunities that will be available during the upcoming application cycle. Program descriptions and requirements will be covered, followed by application process information. Florida Commerce is the governor-designated state agency responsible for administering all U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, also known as HUD, CDBG DR funds awarded to the state of Florida. OLTR supports communities following disasters by addressing long-term recovery needs primarily in housing and infrastructure in Florida communities that have been impacted by these disasters. Please note, CDBG disaster recovery funds are intended to be funding of last resort for addressing unmet needs after all other sources have been exhausted. Today, Florida Commerce has received a total allocation of more than $4.3 billion since 2017 to administer CDBG disaster recovery and mitigation funds to communities impacted by Hurricane Matthew, Irma, Michael, Sally, Ian, and the storms that make up the 23-24 funding. The disasters covered by the 23-24 storm allocation are Idalia, Debbie, Helene, Milton, in the North Florida tornadoes that hit in May of 2020. On this slide, you will find some important dates regarding the 23-24 funding timeline. January 16th, 2025 is a key date. That's when HUD announced that the state of Florida would receive more than $925 million in funding to serve the 47 counties impacted by the 23. Since HUD's announcement, Florida Commerce staff has held more than 70 meetings with all 47 eligible counties that encompass listening sessions, public workshops, public meetings, and Teams calls. June of 2025, Florida Commerce received the good news from HUD that our action plan has been approved. What this means is that Florida Commerce's Office of Long-Term Resiliency will be opening an infrastructure competitive application cycle July 1. This is a key slide regarding who will be eligible to receive the 23-24 funding. In the aftermath of the 23-24 storms, HUD identified 22 most impacted and distressed, also referred to as mid counties in the state of Florida, working with the local communities, had a pretty strong understanding of where the need existed and identified an additional 25 mid counties in the 22. Per federal regulations, 80% of our funding must be sent to the 22 counties identified as HUD mids. A map depicting the mids follows this slide. The map and the list of eligible counties can also be found on Florida Commerce 23-24 Storms webpage. The list and map shown on this, the counties that HUD designated mid areas, those that are state designated mid areas in green. The gold areas are entitlement communities that received a direct allocation from HUD. The HUD and state mids are the same counties where Florida staff did outreach and held the 70 meetings and listening sessions, workshops, and public hearings. We will now turn our attention to the specific program information. This slide portrays the breakdown of our allocations between infrastructure and the housing program. $425 million will be spent in a competitive cycle through infrastructure and $434 million in direct implementation housing. These allocation decisions were based on citizen input along with findings of the comprehensive unmet needs assessment conducted by our agency. It should also be noted that the unmet needs assessment identified more than $5 billion in unmet needs, which far exceeds the $925 million allocation. Therefore, our focus will be on projects that most efficiently serve low to moderate income communities and individuals, as well as urgent need projects. Applicants should propose projects that meet the 2025 State Action Plan and Federal Register requirements, including but not limited to being located in a HUD or state mid area, projects that primarily serve low to moderate income populations or demonstrate an urgent need, as well as demonstrate a tieback to receive the disaster recovery funding or have an eligible mitigation activity to qualify for the mitigation set aside. Eligible applicants include municipalities such as counties and cities, local government subdivisions such as water management, utility districts and school boards as well, and nonprofits and non-governmental agencies that apply in partnership with their municipality or state agency. The total allocation for the infrastructure repair and replacement program is $400 million. It is designated to fund infrastructure restoration and improvement projects. $25 million of the infrastructure allocation will be used for the HMGMP program. 15% of this allocation, or $60 million, is earmarked for mitigation set-asides. Priority will be given to the 25 fiscally constrained counties as defined by Florida Statute 218.67(1) that are located in the HUD and state mid areas, along with projects that address an urgent need and projects that serve the largest LMI populations. Slide shows some of the activities eligible for the infrastructure repair program. Please note, this is not an all-inclusive list. If you have questions on project eligibility for the CDBG disaster recovery funding, we encourage you to reach out to us. We'll be happy to discuss that with you. This slide demonstrates and shows some of the eligible activities that may be funded through the 15% mitigation set aside And just like on the infrastructure slide, we encourage you to reach out to us if you don't see a proposed mitigation activity on here. It's not an all-inclusive list. We would be happy to discuss with you. These next several slides list and illustrate some of the frequently awarded CDBG disaster recovery infrastructure projects. They include water management systems repairs and improvements, lift station enhancements, stormwater controls, and potable water systems. As you can see on this slide, there are some photos included of previous infrastructure projects. Our subrecipients have also completed wastewater treatment projects, fixed or replaced bridges and roads, and hardened critical facilities. Found on this slide is a photo of a previous infrastructure project that included the hardening of a fire station. We have also worked on hardening or replacing shelters and on projects to control erosion, renourish coastlines, and repair and rebuild seawalls. Included on this slide is a photo of an infrastructure project where the ditch restoration and culvert improvements occurred. Given the wide variety of potential disaster recovery and mitigation projects, we urge applicants to carefully prioritize community's needs. All subrecipients that are awarded CDBG disaster recovery or mitigation funding must understand and comply with federal regulations. Some of the federal regulations that subrecipients must comply with are indicated on this slide. They include procurements, environmental reviews, labor standards, relocations, and audits. Once you receive federal dollars, you must also monitor your subcontractors, maintain comprehensive program records, report on activity progress, and meet performance goals. Procurements and URA requirements. Subrecipients are required to carry out all procurements in the federal requirements under 2 CFR 200. Any property acquisition, rehabilitation, demolition, to be reimbursed with HUD funds is subject to the Uniform Relocation Assistance in Real Property Acquisition Policies Act, also known as URA. And I cannot emphasize this enough. It is critical that no acquisition of property be done prior to the completion of an environmental review of the property. It is also important for all subrecipients to understand that their projects must adhere to specific labor standards such as Section 3, the Davis-Bacon Act, and the Copeland Anti-Kickback Act. All CDBG disaster recovery projects and mitigation projects require some level of environmental review. It is important to know that once an application is submitted, the appropriate level of environmental review must be completed before entering new contracts or conducting project-related activities. Project funds are not reimbursable until the agreement is executed and an exempt activities certification is approved. The final portion of our presentation today is to review the application process for the 23-24 storms. I'll now turn the presentation over to my colleague, Jody McCormick.
Thank you, Alicia. Many of you have already participated in one of our funded programs, so a good portion of the following information will be a little bit redundant and not new to you. However, I ask that you indulge me for just a few minutes while we cover some of the elements of the application process, and how applications will be submitted. Now that our state action plan has been approved, we must now turn our attention toward aiding in your recovery efforts. Our team is in the final stages of preparing the policies and procedures and program guidelines for this funding cycle, which will be published and posted on the Florida Commerce 23 and 24 storms web pages, and additionally on the program-specific websites. During the application cycle, due dates and additional program information will be posted to our website. And following the application period, Florida Commerce will score proposals, conduct site visits, and select the projects for funding. So with the application cycle, we're going to cover how to submit an application. Prior to receiving the application templates, applicants must first submit an online pre-application intake form. This will begin your process. The link to this form will be available on the Rebuild Florida 23-24 Storms Infrastructure Repair Program page. After Florida Commerce receives your pre-application form, you will be emailed an application template as well as the budget activity work plan DOB template for project submissions. These links will not be posted on the website for submissions until the July 1st date. While you will only receive one application packet, a separate application will be required for each project for which you are seeking funding consideration. Based upon the number of projects you intend to submit, a project distinct box.com link will be provided to you where you will upload your individual applications for submission. A separate link will be provided for each project you intend to submit. So now we're going to cover a little bit of the information that is going to be required in the application itself. These are some basic components that applicants must provide, such as their FEIN and UEI, your unique entity identifier numbers, your flood insurance status, which qualifying location where your project will be conducted, who the applicant is, and any co-applicants that may be a party to the application. You also will be asked to provide citizen participation documentation, such as a public notice, any public hearing agendas and minutes, and any public comments received. This process can be an either-or process with a public notice and public comment period, or a public notice with a public hearing. If you have specific questions about this process and what key elements you need to hit, please do not hesitate reaching out to me. I would be glad to walk you through this process. Additionally, with your application, we will ask that you provide maps for your project. This will include the service area floodplain and the applicable LMI service area at the time of submission. Project-related photographs are always a good demonstration of storm tieback, but it's not the only way that you can demonstrate your project's impact. If photos are not available, please provide any quantifiable data that supports your project as having the requisite storm tieback. An activity work plan that lists all tasks, milestones, and estimated timeframes will be required with your application. Also, LMI census data, which is evidence of meeting the LMI and/or urgent need, must be submitted. This may be provided through census block group data via ACS or by conducting a local survey. As part of the narratives of your application, you will be asked to provide a project description, a damage summary and tieback to the 23 and/or 24 storm, You will explain the unmet need for your community. You will provide any pre-existing designs if available, and you will include a budget for your project, which will include copies of any quotes that you have utilized to determine the budgetary need, and you will need to disclose any leveraged funds that would be associated with the project. So now we're going to move into a few tips and pointers for submitting your application. Some of this I have already discussed a little bit, but I'm going to go into further detail at this time. You will only receive one application template and one budget activity work plan DOB template. I ask that you please save these base templates in a file and then utilize them to create a separate application for each individual project you will be submitting. With the budget activity work plan DOB template, you may add rows as needed to accommodate the input of additional budgetary information or activity items. This will be coming to you as an Excel spreadsheet, so it's easy to add new rows to it. When submitting your application packet, please submit all required documents in one compiled PDF file. As a pointer, Box.com generally prefers PDF files. If you attempt to upload a Word document, whether it be Doc or DocX, there's a possibility that it will fail and keep you from being able to upload any of your files. With this compiled packet, any of the attachments as noted in the application itself must also be included in this one PDF file. In a divergence from previous programs, we will be utilizing a new application intake form. On this slide, you will see a preview of what some of the components will look like. The initial portion of the form is where you will provide basic information about yourself and your entity. The most important part of the form is where you provide the number of projects you intend to submit. Based off of the number you select, you will be taken to a separate page where you will then provide the name of each project you plan to submit. Why is this important? When we go into these projects, we understand that a lot of these are in a conceptual phase. We would utilize the information that you provide, the number of projects you intend to submit and the project names. We would utilize this to create the application submission link for each distinct project. As previously mentioned, each project will have a distinct link, and it is the only way we can keep each of the project submissions separate. This slide shows what the screen will look like when you are submitting through Box.com. To upload a file or files, you may drag and drop the files into the upload field, or may choose to upload a selected file from your local drive. Once your file has been uploaded, you will select the Submit button. Upon submission, program staff will be notified of your upload and your application submission is complete. Email confirmation will be provided to the applicant from the program verifying that the application packet has been received. As previously mentioned by Chief Bahena, we anticipate launching the 23-24 Storms Infrastructure Repair Program on July 1st of 2025. Prior to launching the application cycle, we will distribute an email notifying you of all relevant application dates and times. Additionally, you may learn more about the Florida Commerce Office of Long-Term Resiliency and programs available to disaster impacted communities by visiting floridajobs.org/2023 and 2024 storms. Or you may scan the QR code on this slide. Updates regarding program statuses and more will be posted across Florida Commerce social media platforms on the Florida Commerce website and via email. At this time, we will stop and take a few questions. I see that there are some in the chat box. I will start with Lisa. Would you please address who is an authorized representative for purposes of signing the application? For this, it may be the city manager, it may be the department head, mayors, and commission chairs are always acceptable. It would be determined by your local processes on who is authorized to enter into signatory form. Jim Birch, is the PowerPoint presentation available for redistribution? This presentation, as well as the slide deck, will be available on our website probably next week. Can a city apply for CDBG for HMGP matching dollars and a separate application for infrastructure? Yes, that is a great question. CDBG, DR, HMGMP will probably launch a little bit later next year because of the timelines associated with FEMA and DEM awards. We are launching the infrastructure repair program next month, but the HMGMP will be predicated on your award through DEM. When will the grant application close? Great question. As of right now, it will close September 29th. It is our intent to run a 90-day application cycle.
We have a question that says, can a local government in an entitlement county submit an application directly to Florida Commerce for one or more projects, or must they go through the entitlement county? This is a really good question. And this came from Mr. Fox. The smaller municipalities located inside a entitlement county will need to go to that county to seek the CDBG disaster recovery funding. State of Florida will only be issuing awards to municipalities located in the 47 state and HUD NIDs.
Sam Sullivan, if we hire a firm to help complete the application, are they eligible to submit a bid to be project administrator? If payment is rendered to complete the application and help write it, they would be ineligible. Can an administration fee be built in for caseworkers to help homeowners? That is a housing specific question. You would need to reach out to Tom Hartman for those specifics. We are specifically dealing with the subrecipient side of things, which is going to be the units of local government. So unfortunately, I cannot ask that. I cannot answer that question.
To expand just a touch on that, you will be granted administrative funding inside your award. So there will be 5% of your award that is available to be used for administrative cost.
Shanna, can a school board submit an application, or does it have to go through the county or city? School boards are a local government subdivision and may submit an application on their own.
We're seeing these are great questions that you guys are presenting to us today, and we encourage you to continue reaching out to us through the contact information that you see available on this slide. You can reach out directly to myself, to Jody McCormick, Anastasia Smith, or Garnet Nevels, as well as the CDBG DR infrastructure app commerce.fl.gov email address. We look forward to hearing from all of you.
And if I did not get to answering your questions, I am pulling these down and will respond to you individually after this meeting. Is there anything else you would like to add?
Thank you very much for your time today. We look forward to hearing from all of the communities. Please don't hesitate. All questions are good. We'd be delighted to set up a technical assistance call with you to run through your questions. Thank you, and I hope everybody has a great afternoon.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.